So in question 6, it says the heights of females at Briven College are normally distributed. 90% of female students have heights less than 182.7. 40% of the female students have heights less than 162.5. We have to find the mean and standard deviation. Now, what we know is that a normal distribution, we use this formula, z is equals to x minus mu upon variance. Now, as we have two different sets of information, we can make two different equations and then try and find the value of mean and standard deviation. Now, it says 90% have less than 182.7. So it means less than 182.7, it should be over here. And this is 90% over here. Now at 90%, we will have to find the z value. So the z value at 90%, if we go onto the table, let's look at 90%. 90%. Okay, so this is 0.8997. This value is 1.2 and 1.28. And then we have to add 3 over here, right? So we can add 2 or 4. So we'll add, let's say, 4 over here. This z value will become 1.282 because this is 2 over here. So the z value for this set of information is 1.282 and it is a positive value. 1.282, x value is 182.7 minus mu upon standard deviation. And that is our first equation. 40% of the females have height less than 162.5. Now you will first make this normal distribution graph. 40%, it means this is a 0 mark, have a height less than 162. So on the left hand side, the probability is 40. It means this has to be 40%, right? Lesser value is 40%. One thing I already know now is that the z value will be a negative value. Now, in your tables, you don't have probability less than 0.5. So if this is 40, we can find the z value at 60%. 60% probability, okay? So where is 0.60? Well, this is 0.5987. This is 0.25. So we'll have 0.25. And we have to add 13 over here to get 0.6 exact. So we're not getting 13 exact, but the closest is 12. So that will be 0.253, right? Because this will be the corresponding value. So the z value is 0.253, but we already know that this will be taken as negative. So this will be negative 0.253 is equals to 162.5 minus mu upon standard deviation, right? And then we just simply solve it simultaneously and we get the values of mu and the standard deviation. Okay, now once you have these two equations, you have to solve them simultaneously. You first cross multiply, this will become 1.282 standard deviation plus mu is equals to 182.7. This will be minus 0.253 standard deviation plus mu is equals to 162.5. You can simply substitute this in your calculators as well, or I mean, you can just simply change the signs. This will become 1.282 plus 0.253, that is 1.535. And this will be 182.7 minus 162.5, that is 20.2. And then the standard deviation will become 20.2 divided by 1.535, and that is 13.15. And three significant figures, you will write it as 13.2. You will substitute this standard deviation value into either of these equations, and the mu value will come out as 165.8. In part B, it says 10 female students are chosen at random. Find the probability that fewer than 8 of these 10 students. Okay, so n is 10. have heights more than 162. So the probability of having a height more than 162.5 is, okay, so that will be 60%. This is the probability for less than 162.5. So the probability of more than 162.5 will be 60%, and less than 162.5 will be 40%. Okay. Now it says fewer than 8 of these 10 students. Now, fewer than 8 means we'll have to, when it says x is less than 8, we can find the probability of 8, the probability of, sorry, not probability of 8. Fewer than 8 will mean probability of 7, probability of 6, probability of 5, and so on till probability of 0. Or what I prefer doing is x is less than 8 will mean 1 minus probability of 8, 9, and 10, right? How will we find these probabilities? So first 1 minus 10C8, more than 165, the probability is 0.6 to the power of 8, then 0.4 to the power of 2. And let's put this in the bracket. Plus 10C9, 0.6 to the power of 9, 0.4 to the power of 1, and then plus 10C10, 0.6 to the power of 10, and then 0.4 to the power of 0. And you subtract this total value from 1. And this is much shorter and easier to like calculate. Once you substitute these values in your calculator, the final answer will become 0.833.